Hey y'all, welcome back to Mrs. Lynn's Cooking. Today we're going to make a Millionaire Shortbread cookie is what we're going to make. So what we're going to need is our all-purpose flour, light brown sugar, granulated regular sugar, milk chocolate chips, dark chocolate chips, white chocolate chips, golden syrup, and I'll have this linked below so you'll know where to get it. And you will need unsalted butter. You'll need sweetened condensed milk and a spray for the bottom of your pan. Now, I want to let you know after this, what we've done is we started the video earlier and the cameraman had a oops moment. So we've got everything in our stand mixer ready to go. And I'll go over that with you in just a minute. Just let me get this cleared up out of the way. Okay, what we have in my container here is I have 1 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour, 2/3 cup of softened unsalted butter, if I can get it out, and 1/4 cup of white sugar. So I'm going to raise this up, and then we're going to go ahead and beat this until it's really crumbly. So bear with me, and I'm going to do this on slow, and then I'll work my way up. Okay, now I'm going to scrape this down real quick, and then I'm going to do it just a little bit longer to make sure I got everything incorporated into the dough. So just bear with me while I do this. And we're just going to kind of just scrape it off of the sides, and that way it's to where it's in the middle of your pot. That way you're making sure you're getting every bit of it done. So let me scrape this off. And we're going to do this one more time, because we're just, like I said, we're doing crumbly. It's like a crumbly dough is what we're doing. So okay, that's done. So let me get this out of here and get it moved around. And I'm going to get this mixer out of my way real quick, and then we'll come right back. Okay, I've taken out the stand mixer, and this is what our dough is going to look like. So I want to show it to you. Just make sure you get all those little pieces that you can't get off the bottom. Just kind of ball it up a little bit, and then what we're going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and grease a 9-inch square baking pan. Okay, and then we're going to take this dough. Once we do that, make sure you do it really well. Then we're going to take our dough, and I'm just going to put it into this pan here so that I can get it all mashed down together. So, and let me get this off of here somewhat, because I need to get it all mixed up together. So, and I'm going to do it with my fingers instead of with a spatula. If you want to use spatula or something, go right on ahead. But I seem to do mine a lot better with my fingers. And that way I know I can get the consistency of what I want. And we're just going to press this down into this pan to where it is nice and flat. And it's going to be a dry, all shortbread cookies are really dry. So what we're doing is I'm just going to do this, and then afterwards I'll take the spatula and kind of spread it out a little bit to make it look a little bit better than this. I've been told that I can bake, but I just can't decorate. And I'll be the first one to tell you that I can't. Okay, and that's what I'm going to do. Now I'm going to take this over to my 350-degree oven, and I'm going to let this cook for about 20 minutes or until it's a light golden brown. Okay, now while my cookies are cooking, what I'm going to do is we're going to go ahead and make the caramel sauce. And you're going to need a half a cup of salted butter because we're going to do a salted caramel on top with the chocolates. So we're going to put this into our pan. And then we're going to add in, just bear with me, we're going to do a half a cup of light brown sugar packed. Make sure it's packed really well. Okay. And next we are going to add in a half a cup of our sweetened condensed milk. So just bear with me. And it's thick, so just bear with me here when I get this squeezed out. I could cut it, but if I do, I'll end up having more all over my counter than I will in the cup. So just bear with me on this. And we're just going to do a half a cup of this. It's getting there. Okay, it's a slow process of doing condensed milk. So just bear with me a second. There we go. Let me put a lid on this so it does not spill. Okay. Now we're going to add this half a cup into our saucepan as well. So I'm going to do that just like so. Okay. I want to make sure I get all of that because we're going to need the gooiness of this. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to use our golden syrup. And all we need of this is 2 tablespoons. So we've got, in this golden syrup, I've tasted it. It actually tastes like, I'm going to say toffee is what the flavor of it is. And so this is going to give it more of a toffee flavor than anything else. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this over to my stove and I'm going to put this on, just bear with me, I'm reading instructions, on medium-low heat and let it boil for 5 minutes. So we're going to take this over to the stove. Okay, our cookie has come out. It's just like one big giant cookie. So what I'm going to do at this point, I need to let it cool just a little bit because once we go to do the caramel sauce on top of it, it needs to be cooled just a little. It doesn't have to be completely cooled, but just cooled enough. So once we get this done, let this cool for about 30 minutes, then I'm going to come back and then we'll start the caramel sauce. Okay, we've got my burner set on a medium-low heat or a number 5, whichever you have. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of just break this up a little bit. That way that the butter melts a little bit faster. And then what we're going to do is we're going to let this mix it in just a little. And then make sure that you use a wooden spoon. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this melt for about 5 minutes at least. And then we'll come right back to it. Okay, this is what it's going to look like. It's about halfway done. So this has been about 2.5 to 3 minutes. Just stir it occasionally at this point because the more you stir it on the stove, it will cool it down. So we're just going to let this sit here for about another 2 more minutes and then we're going to pull it off. Okay, you can tell right now that our caramel is starting to bubble. And that's what we want. And we're going to stir it occasionally, just like so, and let it bubble for a minute or 2. And then once it gets through doing that, then we're going to take it over to our counter to finish it up. Okay, I'm going to show you the consistency of this caramel. And this is what you want. The more you do it like this, the thicker it's going to get. The longer you cook it, the thicker it's going to get. Now, at this stage, I'm going to set my cookie over to the side. We're going to have to vigorously stir this for 3 minutes with a wooden spoon. So I'm going to do that now. Okay, and we're still stirring this. I have like 16 seconds to go. And then once you're stirring this, you will notice it's going to get a lot thicker. So we're just going to keep stirring this until we're done with it. And then once we do that, then we're going to pour this over our cookie. And we are done. And that's a lot of stirring. And so now I'm going to take this and I'm going to take my caramel, scrape it all down, and then we're just going to pour this over the top of the cookie. And then we'll have to, spread it out afterwards. So, which is no big deal. There we go. And it's actually really super thick. I didn't think it would be that thick, but it really is. And then at this point, we're going to spread it to get it as even as you can. And then you're going to let this sit at room temperature for at least 2 to 3 hours until this toffee gets to be warm. So just bear with me, and I'm going to do this as well. And this will take any bubbles that you have in it, and I'm going to just do it like so. But like I said, we're going to sit there. This is done for right now. Let it sit for 2 to 3 hours, and then we'll come back and do the chocolate part. Okay, the way to check your caramel, I said toffee earlier because it's a toffee colored. I'm sorry about that. But just touch it. It's still warm, but it's firm, and that's what you want. So what I've done is I have mixed together 3/4 cup of dark chocolate chips and 3/4 cup of milk chocolate chips. Now, if you don't want to mix them, you could just use either just dark or milk chocolate or white. Now, I've got 1/4 cup of the white chocolate chips, and we're just going to use that kind of as a decoration. So at this point, I want you to put your chocolate chips in the microwave in a bowl or glass jar that you can let it melt for 1 minute, and then stir it until you get the consistency of everything has been blended together. Okay, now I need to correct myself. I did it for 1 minute on this mixed chocolate chips, and then once you do it for the first minute, pull it out, and then every 20 seconds check it, and this is what you're going to look for. So at this point, we're going to take this and we're going to pour this over our caramel for right now, and then we'll get to the white chocolate chips. So, and I just did it in just a paper bowl. It just depends on how much you want to really clean up. So that's why I do it like this, because paper bowls, paper plates and all that, especially when I'm doing a lot of cooking like this, it's so much easier to clean. So we're going to get this in here, and make sure you get every bit of it because the chocolate's warm. And then when you put this over, it's still, your caramel is still warm, and so is your cookie, and that's fine. So we're just going to smooth this out and over, and then I'm going to go over there and I'm going to put my white chocolate chips in there because it's only 1/4 cup. I'm going to start off at 30 seconds on it because it's not as many. And then what we're going to do is we're going to come back in here and pour that over the top of it. And then we will be right back. Okay, now what I've done is I did this, and I'm making it just a little bit runnier. And then I'm going to just put this on my spoon, and I'm going to kind of do it the best I can. Like I've told everybody, I can cook, but I cannot decorate. I'm going to work on that, but it's just going to take some time. So what I'm going to do at this point is I'm taking a wooden skewer, and I'm just going to kind of run it through like this to make a little bit of designs. And I think I got a little bit too much there on that, but that's okay. We're not perfect. So as long as it tastes good, that's all that matters to me. So, and then at this point, after we get this all spread around, then what we're going to do is we're going to take this and put this into a refrigerator for about 30 minutes in order for this chocolate to firm up. And then once we get through with that, we will be right back. Okay, our Millionaire Shortbread cookies are done. So at this point, what I did, I put it in an aluminum pan. The reason being is because once you put it in an aluminum pan, it's easier to break it apart, to put it on a plate to try to cut it, or you can leave it in that. So at this point, all I'm going to do is I am going to take this, if I can get it to go through, there we go, and I'm going to cut up a little bit of it, just like so. And they're going to be really, the shortbread cookies are dry, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a small piece. Whoops, excuse me. We're going to cut these things. Okay, and then one more. There we go. And they're crumbly, but that's okay. So this is what it's going to look like. And yes, it broke apart a little bit, but that's okay. So we're going to jump right into this, and we're going to try it and see how it is. Oh my gosh, that is so good. And if you like my video, please like and subscribe.